From CNN. DOJ announces charges in Iranian plot to kill Donald Trump. The Justice Department on Friday announced federal charges in a thwarted Iranian plot to kill Trump before the election. According to court documents, Iranian officials asked Farhad Shakeri, 51, in September to focus on surveilling and ultimately assassinating Trump. Shakeri is still at large in Iran, the DOJ says. It's a newly disclosed plot and marks yet another alleged attempt on Trump's life by the Iranian regime. Prosecutors allege Shakeri, who participated in recorded conversations with law enforcement, was originally tasked by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps to carrying out other assassinations against U.S. and Israeli citizens inside the U.S., but IRGC officials told Shakeri on October 7th to focus only on Trump, court documents say. He's an Afghan national residing in Tehran, told investigators that if he was unable to come up with a plan in the time frame, come on, copy editor, guys, that they would wait until after the election. Now, this story seems a little bit absurd. I mean, the guy's in Iran. I don't know what is it. They're charging a guy who they'll never get access to.
Soleimani was in Iran. They dropped a bomb on him.
Yeah, but
Soleimani was in Iraq.
Right. Okay. There's somebody who's leading an active war against you and then criminally charging a guy who's in another country. But I do get it. The reason why I think this story is interesting is that there have been a lot of people who have come out and said, seems a little, calm. Donald Trump wins. There's no big shadow campaign. It's just 1:30 a.m. They say everything's okay. Now, there's a lot of speculation from people have been popping up in these podcasts that they fear there may be an attempt on Donald Trump's life before he is actually inaugurated.
It's a certainty they will continue with the attempts, but
yeah, I mean that's and you have to wonder. The Iranians wanted to kill Donald Trump. I mean, why is it that the bad guys all want to kill Donald Trump? I think it tells you something about something good about his leadership style. And I am. Look, I mean, this is unfortunately going to be an anxiety that we all have for the next 4 years because we know that the Secret Service was not, at the very least, they were not up to the task of protecting him the first time around. And I don't think when you're president you can hire your own personal security, your own private security on top of Secret Service, as far as I know. So he's going to be at their mercy.
I want to give a big picture, little quick talk about what's going on here and why all of this is going down. Donald Trump was responsible for the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, who was the leader of the IRGC, generally thought to be number 2 in Iran. And the IRGC and Islamic Guard and Islamic Republic in Iran has had it out for Donald Trump and his associates since then, including John Bolton and Mike Pompeo, including other Iranian activists in the United States. They've been trying to target Donald Trump and many of his national security advisors and peers who worked in the administration. As far as I see this, I think anybody who's plotting to kill the president of the United States or president-elect of the United States should be on borrowed time as far as the American military and intelligence agencies should go. So,
well, I hope they protect Donald Trump. And I'm kind of concerned. I brought this up to somebody, we were talking earlier, and I said, what if something does happen to Donald Trump? Well, we looked it up this morning. The 20th Amendment says that if before the president's first term, the president-elect can make the first term, if they die for any reason, then the vice president-elect will become the president. And then I was talking to someone, they said, yeah, but Trump and JD will be on a plane or something, who knows? And I'm like, okay, maybe they shouldn't be in the same room together. January 20th, they can come together, we get him inaugurated, but I mean this not in any way lightheartedly. I am deeply concerned with the lives of Donald Trump and JD Vance and all of our politicians, even the ones I'm not quite fond of, because I hope this is not a calm before the storm. And right now, more than ever, we need serious protection for our political leaders.
I will say one of the reasons for the calm that you're talking about, and we haven't seen, a lot of us were expecting if Trump won, we'd have rioting and that sort of thing. It'd be, the 2020 riots all over again. I think one of the reasons we're not seeing that is that it was just such an overwhelming victory that I think it's totally crushed the morale and spirit of his opponents. And I'm sure they'll rally together at some point and get their energy back up. But right now, I think it's just totally shell-shocked. The other thing too is that, and this is why one of the many reasons why some of us were quite happy with the JD Vance pick is that not only is he like a really impressive guy in his own right, but frankly, as many of us were saying, he needs to pick a VP candidate who gives him assassination insurance, so that before someone could think about making an attempt on his life, they're going to also have to consider the fact, okay, well, if we take him out, then we're stuck with this guy. And is that really going to be better for us? And the answer is with J.D. Vance. Now, if you put some establishment
Haley
shill in there, somebody like that, then I think that really does put Trump in an even more precarious position. So it still is. But
I think it's an interesting conversation to have, because if you're the Iranians, I'm sure you prefer J.D. Vance, who is known to be more of an isolationist than Donald Trump was. Not that I'm sure J.D. Vance would declare war on Iran if they did assassinate Donald Trump, but I think the Iranians would be more scared of pulling anything on Donald Trump if Nikki Haley were the VP, because they know exactly what she wants to do with them.
But I want to say this. We had two libertarians on this show. We had Clint Russell and Josie the Redhead Libertarian, who both agreed when I said, if Iran were to take the life of Donald Trump, we have no choice but to declare war on them. Would you agree? You would agree, absolutely, right?
You can't kill
if they kill your president,
right? I mean, you don't have a country if you let foreign enemy nations kill your president.
But what's the question if they are trying and making an effort to? How should we read?
And that's still a really great question, because there's got to be some action.
I'm skeptical of literally everything we hear from our foreign policy establishment.
Yeah,
I do believe we should also take a grain of salt with all of these reports. This could obviously spark tensions, and we've been misled by the media. I do believe Iran is a serious threat, but we should still be hyper cognizant of the reports coming out.
And obviously, we have to take threats like this very seriously. And yes, God forbid, if a foreign adversary kills your president, I'm as isolationist as they come. But there are reasons to go to war. That would be one of them. But I'm more worried about. I mean, as big a concern as that is, I'm more worried about the kind of radicalization in this country among our citizens against Trump. Now, we know that Trump just won an overwhelming victory, so most Americans voted for him and are in favor of him. But look, the media has been saying for 8 years now, and they're only going to ramp it up, that this guy is Adolf Hitler. And the thing is, as many people pointed out, when you call somebody Hitler, when you say that he's a fascist dictator and he's Hitler and he wants to destroy democracy, you are actually directly calling for his assassination. You might not be saying it because you can't say it, but if Hitler was actually alive today, we would all agree that you're justified in taking out Hitler.
It's a wink and a nod, right? Oh, he's Hitler. You know what to do.
And I put it this way. There is a thought experiment about traveling back in time and killing the baby Hitler. And the question is, it's a philosophical and moral question about taking the life of a baby who has done nothing wrong, but you know his future and what he becomes. The point is, you could be an 18-year-old in college, and they're asking you about whether it's morally right or wrong, or what are the morals of taking the life of a baby. And I get it, it's baby Hitler, but they're saying that there is an element of the population that is okay with taking the life of Hitler. Then they call Trump Hitler. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
This isn't even. I guess there's an interesting philosophical debate about whether it's okay to kill baby Hitler, but everybody agrees about adult Hitler. Like it's okay to kill adult Hitler.
So I think what Seamus and Matt don't understand is that these Planned Parenthood activists are from the future, and they're coming back in time.
Well, what I was going to say is, I really want to make this point. What I was going to say is they don't need the baby to be Hitler to want to kill them. But I just want to make this extra point. This ties into the Daily Wire. A few years ago at the March for Life, there was a controversy because Ben Shapiro brought up the baby Hitler philosophical question. He's like, well, the answer is you don't kill baby Hitler because baby Hitler was baby. And a toothpaste brand that was sponsoring the video pulled their sponsorship from that, which means a toothpaste company has an official stance on the philosophical question of whether you killed baby Hitler.
Seamus, do you abort baby Hitler?
This goes back to the previous story as well. Like, if FEMA isn't doing things for Trump supporters, and we've seen 2 attempts on President Trump's life. One was clearly because the Secret Service wasn't doing their job. Right. This speaks to the fact that it's likely that will happen in the future, at least leading up until Trump can get into office and hopefully clear some people out of the Secret Service and get competent people in, or people that aren't ideologically possessed.
Yeah, and because the fact is that on the left, and this is not true of every single person who identifies themselves as on the left, but on the sort of radical far political left, they really truly believe that if you are their political enemy, then you don't deserve to live. Your life is not worth living. They honest to God believe that, and that's what they believe about Trump. That's what they believe about. I mean, I made a joke about Project 2025 on Twitter. Which I sometimes do. We do a little trolling, folks, and I get all it's like we're used to it on the internet, but all these comments are people saying, I'm going to find you and kill you. I want you to die. I'm going to find you. You deserve to be tortured and killed, and I want to do it myself. It's like someone said something like that. And it's just, it's normal. We're used to that, but like we should actually be used to that. That shouldn't be a normal response to someone that you don't agree with making a joke.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.